Yes. All right. So we are now recording. So again, let's dive in to episode 3 of our Pro Tips webinar series. We'll be going through today our online registration portion of the app. So today's agenda is we're going to take a look at some background first. Again, this is not designed to be like a step-by-step tutorial of the online registration software. It's really just to get you a general idea of what it can be used for, maybe some of the more creative uses. We're trying to inspire you if you can't get that quite yet. But we do have an excellent knowledge base article that gives you all the nuts and bolts of how to use online registration, which Matt will be sharing in the chat box in the Q&A section really quick. And by the way, speaking of the Q&A section, make sure to, if you think of any questions, throw them in there, and we have some time at the end to go over those as well. But to get back to our agenda for today, we're going to talk about taking payment through online registration, which we get a lot of questions about. The third thing we're going to talk about is what is a WYSIWYG. So stay tuned if you want to figure out what that is. The fourth thing we'll talk about is creative use cases, maybe some outside of the box ideas that you hadn't thought about quite yet. And then if we have some time at the end, we can go over any questions that got added to the Q&A. So without further ado, let's get rolling here. First thing I want to do is give you some background on what online registration is. So it is a part of our Gallus Tournament Wizard software, which is designed to allow you to keep live score throughout an event and have a singular place to go to generate print materials, view leaderboards as people are going through the event, and of course, set up online registration for it. So there are a number of things that you can control when setting up an online registration portal. I'll just go through them real quick here. You can, of course, control when it opens and when it closes. One of the basics there. You can also send out reminder emails to participants a week before the event and also 2 days before the event as well. You can control what the text says in those. You can set the max field of the event that you're setting up so that you don't go over on the number of people that are registering. You can set a fee for it, which we'll talk about a little more in a second, along with online payment. You can make that either required, optional, or you can just not accept payment at all. So it's totally up to you based on how you want to set up the event. You can also have people get notified for every event registration. This is typically maybe a contact at the facility along with whoever the tournament organizer is so that they can control or keep track really of everyone that's registering. You can add as many emails as you'd like for that. And then, as I mentioned before, you can set up a custom message to be going in the registration confirmation emails and the reminder emails that go out as well. So that's the basics of online registration. Let's go into some of the finer details of it. One of the things we get the most questions about by far is how do I receive payment in my online registration portal? So let's answer some of those. We are integrated with one payment processor. Their name is Stripe, S-T-R-I-P-E. They are an excellent payment processor. They're actually owned by PayPal, so they're set up very much in the same way. The idea is you set up an account with Stripe, and then you connect it into your online registration through Gallus so that you can take payment as you're going. So a couple of steps to complete to get there. As I mentioned, you're first going to go to Stripe's website directly. It's just stripe.com. You set up an account with them, set up how often you want to get your bank deposits and all of that fun stuff. Then you will go into Gallus. You'll set up an event. And when you go through online registration, it'll give you the opportunity to connect a Stripe account directly to it. So something to note with that is you can set up a different Stripe account for every event that you set up in the tournament software. If you just have one, you can of course just connect that to all the events. But if you're in a situation where you want to maybe have the tournament host take payment directly, you can give them that host access link that's available in your tournament software homepage, the one that has all the steps on it, like the checklist page. That link will give them access to just that event, and then they can go in and connect the Stripe account on their own for it. So it's really kind of, it just depends on your situation, how you want to set that up. As I mentioned, you can manage all of your bank transfer schedules in Stripe directly, but you can also, through the Gallus Golf Tournament Wizard, you can go in and manage refunds as well. So if someone has to opt out of the event for any number of reasons, basically you just you can go into Gallus, and there's a process basically to refund them, and that will communicate with Stripe to get that money back into their bank account. You of course get full reporting on payments, along with the ability to add players in with their payments manually through the Gallus Tournament Wizard software as well. So there's kind of a line that you have to toe, obviously, between the two systems, but we guide you through it every step of the way for that. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Matt, and he is going to unravel this mystery of what a WYSIWYG is.
Yes, it's WYSIWYG. It's not WYSIWYG. Well, it is, but it's WYSIWYG. So WYSIWYG is a term typically in computers, which is what you see is what you get. So Kyle, if you want to move on to the next slide for me, thank you. When you're setting up the online registration, it automatically creates a web page for you that you can put on your own website. You can promote on your social media, but you can also include it in your app as a custom button on your home screen, or a link in a news article in your app as well that people can directly click and go right to that registration page and register online. It is really nice because it creates just a basic kind of setup for you that has the picture of the tournament logo that you've uploaded. If you didn't upload a tournament logo to your tournament, it will use your app's logo as your basic default logo. You can also add a sponsor logo. So you can basically have two different images pop up at the top, which is really nice. But you can include a header photo, which you can see right there, right underneath where it says Whiskey Barrel 5. You can have a photo right there next to also your coordinator information. This is really great because you can put who to contact if they have questions or want to ask any more details about what's going on. You can include name, phone number, email, so that they can coordinate to the right person. Maybe it's not, you at the course. It might be the outside vendor that is hosting an event at your course, or maybe it's a tournament coordinator that is going to get all those questions answered. So you can put the exact person. It's going to have the date, time, and what kind of event it is right there as well. And then underneath, you can use the bottom section to put all the details of the event, which is really nice. As you can see here, you can embed photos, you can embed videos, you can make it HTML. If you already have a really nice fancy email that's going out that's HTML ready, drop that right in there as well. Or you can just type it up just with text and make it just simple and easy there. So literally, as we go on to the next page, we'll show you exactly how when you're creating these designs, it's what you see is what you get. When you're doing it in the actual editor, it's very nice because you literally are just clicking add picture, add video, step by step. It looks exactly like it's going to look on the website. So you don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know how to make it look pretty. It'll basically do it for you as long as you input it in the way it looks as you're creating it. Once it posted onto that website, it's going to look exactly like that. So it's very simple. It's very intuitive as well. You can, again, do it as if you're writing a Word document, or you can also embed HTML if you know that, or you have access to an HTML formatted flyer or something like that. So some ideas to put in there, which are kind of some great ones, specifically for golf events. Maybe a video from last year's event. If you hold this event yearly and you have a nice kind of video that you've posted on your social before, or some pictures from that event, post some pictures from the previous year to show how fun it was to get people to come back out. Another great thing is photos of the prizes. Maybe you're going to give away a free round or a putter or guest passes or something. Have a picture of what you're giving away. Maybe it's a trophy. If you have a trophy and that winner gets that trophy, puts their name on the trophy and gets to hold it up, show the picture of the winner from last year. Anything like that can help as well. Just kind of sell that event that you're doing. Other great ideas are outbound links to other events in the series. So say maybe you have multiple events, it's a weekly game, or you have another event similar, coming up the following month. It's great to have that, or just link to other things coming up at your club as well. It's a great place to advertise for upcoming other events that maybe aren't even golf related. And then also, the basic details of what the event is, whether it's text explanation of the formats, longest drive holes, how they're going to play, where you're going to show up, if there's lunch included, all of the details that you need for right there, and the instructions of where to show up, how to, when to be there, if it's tee time, shotgun, all that stuff. And then also you can have right above the actual registration where you put in your information, you can have a whole nother registration information, like a final explanation of like, hey, make sure you put in your email, or put in your GIN number, because it will pull your GIN number the day of the event if it's a golf event, which is really nice. So you don't have to go and pull everybody's handicap the day of. It'll do that automatically. So those are just some basic ideas. Obviously, you can do whatever you want with those pages. Now I'm going to jump into some creative use cases that you can use this for, that is not just a golf outing, not just a tournament, not just a golf event. You can use this for basically anything else you want. And these are just a few examples of ones I've seen that work really well using the registration page. So the first one is day camps. I've seen this used for both a kids and adult day camps, whether it's just, getting together with your pro, having a all day event where you in the morning, do some practice with the pro, have a lunch, go out and play 9 holes. Everybody has a good time. I've seen this for both kids and adults, or for families too. This works really well with a family, especially at a club that has, you maybe have a teenage son and then also a smaller 7 or 8 year old. They can kind of cater to all that. So day camps is great because you can basically just have everybody sign up for that one day or half day events. Another great one is private events. If you want to host an event that's not just golf, obviously golf is great to, if you have somebody that wants to host an event at your property, but somebody maybe wants to do something else, just have a party or have people come out to something else. They can create their own online registration. They can pay right online, just like, Kyle had showed using Stripe, and they can connect their own Stripe account so that they collect all the money. You don't have to collect the money for it. They just cut you one check up front. You don't have to deal with the money. You don't have to worry about the credit card processing fees, who's paying for what. It gets taken out from the Stripe account and it goes right into their bank account. Makes it super simple. So the next one is wine tastings and whiskey tastings. This is probably the newest thing I've seen this used for, and it works really well. You can cap the number of people that you want to be allowed to register for the event. You can allow people to register as a group, up to as many as 10 people, I believe, or you can have them all register individually and pay individually there too. So that's a great thing, usually because that's just like a one-time flat fee to show up for the wine or whiskey tasting. And that way you have everybody just register online beforehand. And the last thing on here is holiday brunches. I've seen this happen with Mother's Day brunch coming up, Christmas brunches. It's a great way to get people to register ahead of time. So, it's a better way to get a head count to know how much food you're going to have to make. But also, you get a lot of people paying up front. So you might have a flat, $65 for the brunch, and, it covers, all your desserts and everything else. It's a great way to just basically have everybody do it all online. You see how much money's there, and you can still collect money the day of, but at least you get a lot of people doing it ahead of time and get a better head count of what's going on. So I've seen some clubs that they mandatory make you register online. Otherwise, it's either way more expensive or you can't do it. So it's really up to you how you do this. These are just some examples of things that I've seen work really well for some clubs out there. So that is basically it's not too complicated. I'm going to kick it back to Kyle if we had any questions. I don't know if we had any come in while we were doing this.
Yeah, I haven't seen any come through the Q&A section quite yet. So I'm going to talk in a slow sentence just in case someone is furiously typing. I'm going to
put into the Q&A box. I've already put the knowledge base article that has the step-by-step instructions how to do a lot of the stuff we've talked about. Somebody is typing.
Hannah's typing. So
And then I also put in the slides from today that has all the links and as well as just all the slides that you can go through. The Stripe website. I'm also going to include our registration for our next event, our next episode, which Kyle, what is our next episode?
I believe it's custom leaderboards.
It is custom leaderboards, yes.
Yeah, it's very similar to the tournament software, but there are some distinct differences between custom leaderboards and tournament software and some different use cases. So we're going to go over some of those, map through that in. So here, it looks like we did get a question. In the design stage, do images have to be inserted by a URL, or is it a drag and drop process? The images actually are grabbing directly from your computer. So you just click a button and then it shows you all the files on your computer, and you can select which one that you want to.
You can also have them, if they are sourced from, you can HTML text grab them from an external source as well if you want to do that. It's more complicated, but the easiest way is it literally just, yeah, like Kyle said, you upload it directly from your own computer.
Yeah, definitely. So Hannah's asking if we can go into a little more detail or show where and how to set up the registration. Yeah, of course, I can show you that real quickly here. So basically, here, let me hop into a app real quick. So here we are in the back-end dashboard of an app. We're going to click on the tournament section, and that's going to show us all the events that we have set up currently. If you have one that you want to set up online registration for, you're going to click into it to see the checklist page. And if registration is already set up, or the shell of it at least, it's going to show at step 2. If it's not, though, there's going to be a little button right above checklist where it's going to say enable online registration. When you do hit enable, it's then going to take you to a page that looks something like this one right here, which is going to go through all of the different steps that we outlined at the very, very beginning in the background. Things like when does it open and close, and are you taking payment, stuff like that. It will create a little mini checklist for you to go through to make sure everything's set up. Like Matt was talking specifically about the design step, which can be accessed through step 2. But this checklist, once you have registration set up, is accessible through step 2 registration. Just click on it and it'll get you there.
And just as a explanation, so you do first have to set up a tournament in the Gallus Tournament Wizard.
Correct.
Which you have to have the Gallus Tournament Wizard to be able to create a tournament first. And when you create the tournament, if it is an event that is not, I didn't mention this before, but if it is an event that is not a golf event, when you're setting up that tournament, all you have to do is uncheck live the mobile scoring, which is at the very bottom when you're setting it up. Because when you do that, it doesn't basically, the day of the event, it doesn't pop up in the app saying, hey, everybody who's registered, click here to score in the app, because there is no scoring if it's not a golf event. So yeah, as Kyle's showing you right there at the bottom, I just uncheck that, use app to keep score. And so you just create the event, you name it whatever event you want it to name. You do have to put the date, the round is the date of the event. But basically, and you just make it an individual event, not a team event typically, if you're going to be doing like a wine tasting or something like that. So that way everybody can just individually register. So you do create the tournament, quote unquote, first, and then you enable the tournament, tournament registration page from the next step once it's set up. So yes, that is a great question, but that's how you set that up that way. And if in that other section, the checklist, what it has, step 2 is design. If you are accepting payments, there will be a payment section there as well that you can also include manual payments. So if somebody comes in and pays you a check directly or pays cash, you can go in and manually say that that person paid, so that you can keep track of everything all on one page. So that everything, even if everybody else paid online, or if you're doing optional payment online, you can coordinate it all in one place for both yourself and the coordinator, whoever's collecting the money.
And then Hannah's also asking just to show what it looks like in the app. So good question. Here, let me show you real quick here. So when you're in an app and you're setting up online registration, it will actually give you the link. So this works the same way as if you were going to add any other button into your Gallus Golf mobile app. You're going to go directly into the setup app navigation step, and you're going to add a button, and you're going to add this URL. So to show you directly kind of how it looks, this would be the desktop version of it. So you can go through and all of the stuff that was designed would be here. But if we want to really show like what the experience is like in the app, we can just do a little scrunch here. It scrunches to be mobile friendly at that point. So the user can go through, they can access everything. And you know what? I'm just going to snag this link, and I'm actually just going to throw this directly into
the chat
Q&A section here, so that you guys can click on it and
you can register,
interact with it. Feel free to register. It's
it goes to us, so
event.
don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll see what the email you get back. So you will, if you register, you'll get a default email. So you can see what that looks like as well. You can customize that email on your end if you want to, when you are setting up the event, like Kyle mentioned earlier. So,
yeah. And again, we have a ton of resources available to you guys if you're looking for more help on it. I mean, number one, if you just want to self-service and just figure out the answer on your own, you can view our knowledge base article, which again, Matt put in the Q&A section at the beginning of this webinar. You can also book a review call with us. We love talking to you guys and hearing what's going on and helping you figure it out. So if you need 30 minutes or maybe you need an hour of our time, just visit that link and we'll be able to get you some help.
This is the only way I learn how to do all this stuff, is because I will help somebody set up an event, and then I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, and then I tell other people about it. So if you're willing to talk to me and you don't mind me spilling your special secrets to other people, if not, I can sign an NDA and not tell anybody if you want me to. I mean, it's up to you. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once again, Matt put the registration link for the next webinar episode 4 in our Pro Tips series, which is going to be on custom leaderboards. So if you want to make sure that you're signed up for that, go ahead and visit that link and just put your information in, and we'll make sure that you get a link to join that. But in the meantime, if you have any other questions, anything else that we can do to help, you can always shoot us an email at support@gallusgolf.com. You give us a phone call at that number that's on your screen, or anywhere that has a gallusgolf.com domain has a little chat box in the bottom right. You can always use that to ask us any questions. So with that being said, thank you everyone for your time. And it's great showing this feature to you, and we look forward to talking to you next time.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Custom leaderboards is a great underutilized tool, so come check that out next time. So thanks everybody.